I'm all in.
O'Dwyer shoves, and Pantling calls. It's an ace on the river. It's quads for O'Dwyer.
There is Scott Seiver in shot. He has ace-4 of clubs and raises it up to 120,000. Richard Yong with queen-7 offsuit will look him up. Here comes the flop. And it is a king-7-7 flop, so Richard Yong flops trips.
Check.
Seiver quickly checks. Action is on Richard Yong.
He wants to make sure he's got that 7.
Bet's 100,000.
100,000 is the bet around to Scott Seiver. And
Cool.
he makes the call.
Scott checks into Richard. Richard
The turn, a 2 of clubs now.
Yeah, that gives Scott the flush draw, plus he still has an ace in his hand. So I don't see him folding here at all.
Bet's 175.
He checks. Richard bets 175,000, trying to extract as much value from Scott as possible. Scott picking up that flush draw.
Richard Young
We'll continue calling. We go to the river. It is a 7 of diamonds, so Richard Yong. I feel like we've seen 4 of a kind quite a few times in this tournament.
It has happened a few times for sure.
It's happened twice to Richard Yong. This is the second time. Scott Seiver checked. Richard Yong counting out some chips.
See 12 bets. 300,000.
300,000, and Scott Seiver looked quickly at his chips then, perhaps thinking his ace is good.
Yeah, that's what I think is going through his mind. And it's a very small bet. It's a third of the pot. And he knows Richard's quite capable of triple barreling this board, you know, and just bluffing.
A bit of a sigh from Scott Seiver. That wonderful tug of war that goes on within a poker player, do I, don't I, is back to haunt him. Really having a think about it, perhaps putting Richard on a flush draw, or...
Yeah, a missed flush draw or just a pure bluff from the outset.
Time is an issue. You can hear the dealer now hurrying up Scott.
These decisions, Paul, really, like when you leak 300,000 here, a few 100,000 there, it can really make up your whole tournament.
300,000, yeah.
And that's why he's taking his time.
Cool.
He makes the call with ace high, so Richard Yong shows him quads. I bet you Richard didn't really expect a call there, but he played it rather well.
Action on chip leader Ilkin Amirov, a recreational player who likes to combine his holidays with major poker tournaments.
He's 43 years old, but he also looks 11.
So he's raised it with Jack-9. Slaven Popov has pocket 8s. He calls the raise.
I think a flat call is the way to go. Even though it invites a squeeze, you don't want to have to 3-bet fold or 3-bet get it in.
Folded to Olivier Ferrero, another recreational player who owns a couple of businesses with his wife. He passes, and Ensan gives up the big blind, so heads up to the flop. And just like that, Slaven Popov flops quads.
Popov gets a treat. Hey, don't call it quads. It's disrespectful. It's like calling a police officer a cop. This is 4 of a kind.
Amirov, drawing dead, continues for 175,000.
Oh, God, what do I do? Play it cool. Play it cool.
Popov flat calls.
Yeah, push those chips in, Ilkin. They're not coming back.
Oh, Amirov pairs his 9 on the turn. This could prove costly.
Well, at least he might slow down now that he's got okay, nope.
Second barrel coming. 255,000.
I think I like a smooth call here again. Let some draws hit the river. But I guess when Amirov raises under the gun, I don't know how often he's going to have draws.
Popov raises to 660,000.
He can rep a draw. I actually think a call here would be pretty loose.
Amirov does call. We go to the river with 2.3 million in the middle. It's the 5 of spades, so a few of those draws got there.
So maybe that'll save Amirov some chips.
Well, he has finally slowed down. He checks the action to Popov.
Popov, play it safe. Check behind.
He's got the second nuts. He bets 1.2 million.
Amirov thinking of getting loose again.
The hell I am.
Just quads.
Thought we agreed we'd call it 4 of a kind.
Whatever.
Nice hand.
Amirov lets it go. And we've only caught one of his hole cards, the king of clubs.
I'm going to do this hand with one eye open.
He raises to 675,000. Jack 10 of diamonds for Adrian Allain.
Oh, sorry, my depth perception's gone.
And he defends. The flop. 10, 10, 3. Allain flops trips.
Such a great feeling.
Action goes check, check. And Allain improves to quads on the turn.
What the actual...
With no continuation bet from Bendik on the flop, Allain leads the turn for 500k. And Bendik calls.
Yeah, there's lots you can get called by, heads up.
The river card is the 4 of clubs, and I really hope for Jan's sake he didn't just river a flush.
I mean, even a flush isn't super strong on this board.
Allain is going for value, 1.6 million.
Flush is actually just a bluff catcher.
Call.
Well, Bendik must have something, he's called.
Can't beat quads.
I don't think he can beat quads. Meanwhile, this has escalated. Richardson opened on the button. Petrica shoved from the small blind. Richardson has called, and it's jacks against nines. Petrica, the player at risk, but he is a 4-1 favourite to double up here.
Good luck, man.
Wow!
Oh, wow.
What a flop! A full house against quads? Oh, come on!
Is that real? Can we just check the graphics team aren't just having a joke?
The Hollywood screenwriters have come to Prague. Well, it's obvious what Petrica needs to hit. Will it be quads against quads? 1 out for the Romanian. Doesn't hit. That was pretty horrible.
It's gonna be a good story, right?
Sorry. I'm sorry that I swore.
What hashtag's that, James?
Yeah, you too. Bye.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is hashtag death by quads. As the blinds go up to 40-80 with a 10k ante, O'Dwyer raises his button with 8-10.
Standard button raise.
Pantling has king 5 suited in the big blind.
Suited king is a very easy defend and will be good at showdown often enough.
Pantling calls.
All about the post-flop play, heads up.
Well, let's see the flop. Wow, action guaranteed. Trips for O'Dwyer. The second nut flush draw for Pantling. Pantling checks.
I think Steve has got to bet here to try to build a pot. There are lots of bad turn cards, not just for Steve, but ones that could be bad for Andrew too, and therefore kill his action.
O'Dwyer does continue for 300,000.
Pantling obviously can't fold a draw this huge.
He calls. The turn card. It's a spade. It's the flush for Pantling.
Check.
He checks again.
Unfortunately for Steve, he cannot slow down here because a flush is just so unlikely. Worst part is, if Pantling decides to raise a bet here, I don't think Steve can fold. This is a spade to dig Andrew Pantling out of his hole and possibly a grave for Steve O'Dwyer.
600,000 is the bet on the turn.
Does Andrew go for the raise now?
Signs point to yes. That is 1.425 million.
Like I said, I don't think Steve can fold. He's beating a lot of other 8s. He's beating all semi-bluffs, and when he's up against a flush, like now, he's got equity to boat up. Still, he is behind.
How much do you have left in green? Can you cut those out?
Pantling has 3.5 million behind.
The only question is, does Steve call and reevaluate or just go for the gusto here? Guess the good news for him either way is he can't go broke.
Pantling is praying that Steve lumps it in.
I'm all in.
O'Dwyer shoves! And Pantling calls.
8. Down, please, gentlemen. Is that a flush?
It is a flush. And Pantling will double up unless there is a Jack 10, 8 or 4 on the river. 10 outs for O'Dwyer, which would see him win the title, but there's a 77% chance that Pantling doubles up and we play on. It's an 8 on the river! It's quads for O'Dwyer that see him triumph here in Monaco and win the EPT 9 Grand Final main event!